So just like you voted for the $450,000 to change all the locks in the building, and we didn't know specifically where that went, this would be similar to that, except it would go, instead of towards changing all the locks in all the county buildings, it would be towards clearing up the mess that's up in your district in the hills. Does that make sense?
It passed $35,000 to tow the homeless RVs and homeless trailers that have been sitting in the desert, sometimes for many years, and attract more homeless people. $35,000 out of federal grant money that's been sitting here unused, just sitting there unused, close to $2 million of it. We just took $35,000, which would do a lot to remove homeless RVs and homeless junk trailers illegally parked on the land of another, whether it's the county land or someone else's land, just sitting there causing crime. But I wanted you to first thank Commissioner Jabour, and some of this is going on in his district, and he's done a great thing by co-sponsoring this. Without his support, this would not have happened. Without Commissioner Jabour's support, this would not have passed. But I also want you to see the video, to see the old ways, and how those old ways of ignoring crime, those old ways of ignoring the homeless problem, throwing up roadblocks so that we don't tend to that, so that we don't clean up our community. It's very active, so we do still need to fight. This is a fight we still have to engage. The good news is we're winning. We're going to have that community with traditional values and Western culture.
Go ahead, Commissioner Koenig.
What is exactly this money going to be used for? I mean, is it going to be going paid directly to the tow company, or? I guess I'm asking the question of Commissioner Bayne, seeing how he authorized this whole.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is for funding. So just like you voted for the $450,000 to change all the locks in the building, and we didn't know specifically where that went, this would be similar to that, except it would go, instead of towards changing all the locks in all the county buildings, it would be towards clearing up the mess that's up in your district in the hills. Does that make sense? With all the RVs and all the homeless people living in them?
It sort of makes sense, but
Good.
we don't have the money. That's my problem.
Well, maybe we ought to stop the authorization of that $450,000 in the locks for buildings. It's not too late for that, Commissioner.
It's off the subject.
It's not too late for that, Commissioner. Maybe you ought to look at your district and take a deep look at what's going on in your district.
So first and foremost, what I do need to say is that this project was not budgeted. We do our budget process tentatively in April. I don't know of just a $35,000 pocket sitting there to be spent and available. If the board decides to move forward with this, I would need some additional direction on what the intention of the funds is for. Are we to pay labor costs for the sheriff's office? Are we to pay licensing fees? Is it just for the towing of the vehicle? Is it for the impound? That will make a difference on what funds are going to be looked into to see if we can fund this measure. Typically something that's going to cost the county money is thought of in advance, and we try and prepare that budget a year in advance. With that being said, if the measure does move forward, we have to look at the general fund. I know it's also considered 75% from town of Pahrump funds. We need to have some pretty deep discussions with the impacted departments and where we would save that money. What contracts can you cancel? What subscriptions can you cancel so that we can fulfill this in this year? So, you know, it will take a give and take because no department has just an extra $35,000 just sitting there.
Thank you.
Thank you. One of the issues I see using, and I could be wrong, but using town of Pahrump funds.
What is the balance in the LATCF unrestricted grant fund right now?
The unallocated balance for projects?
Not unallocated. What is the actual balance of anything that has not been voted on by this board? Spend.
$1,775,000.
$1,775,000. I would just make a motion to pass this as, I would make a motion contingent upon a funding source being seconded. So I motion to pass item 12, contingent on a second for funding source. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So I'm a little confused on the contingent on the funding source. Isn't that part of the motion?
No, that is not part of my motion. My motion is contingent on the funding source. I would recommend either the LATCF or some other combination that someone can find from all this millions of dollars sitting around, and that's what I'm offering right now in a motion. And just remember, we need $35,000.
Right. Go ahead, Commissioner Jabour. I know you have a question.
Well, yes, before there is a possible second, we could direct staff to try to find this funding source and then come back to us for a formal motion and vote at that time, if that's acceptable to Commissioner Bayne.
I would withdraw my motion to pass item 12 using the LATCF funding. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you on that. We have a motion.
Again, Chair, before a second is made, I'd like to ask the comptroller. Under the LATCF funding of the 1.775 million, are we able to utilize any of that funding for this agenda item?
Yes, sir. It is going to be considered a general government service that we are providing. In that situation, we would be able to use it, again, kind of confirming direction. If we need to pay the sheriff's office labor for researching on this, are we only paying for the impound? Just so that I know what that $35,000 can be used for. But yes, the LATCF funding can be used. There are not restrictions against this project.
Okay. I will second the motion.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. So is this a one-time?
This is just a one-time $35,000 funding as written out of the LATCF fund for funding. There's a motion, a second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oskovich, aye.
That sound like a good solution. Let's figure this out.
That is,
Try it.
that carries 4 to 1.